previous lab, we used the if, else statement. We're going to use an alternative decision statement here. We're going to use what's known as a switch statement. And a switch statement is for use anytime you want to compare, for example, the results of a variable to multiple different values. It means that you don't have to use multiple else if statements. And so we're going to create a program here which is looking at the current date, and then it's going to judge, or it's going to evaluate that date against various different what's known as cases, and then it's going to return the associated message with that particular day. So if you run it on a Monday, the message is going to be, whatever you want it to be, but today is Monday, tidy your house, for example. So if you go into the PHP editor, and we're going to start it off by creating a variable, and if we were in college, and I'm just going to call this variable today, if we were in college, then all you would need to do is use the date function. So I'm just going to show you, and then I'm going to obviously change it because we're not in college. And what we're doing here is using the date function, we are setting the format, and when we use the capital letter D, it simply means that what's going to be returned are the first three letters of the day. So MON, for example, or TUE. But obviously we can't do that, we're not on the college server, so let's just set it to a random date. I'm just going to set it to Thursday. Okay, so we have our variable, we've set a value. Unfortunately, we're having to sort of hard code it in, and then we're going to start our switch statement. So we start off with the keyword switch. What are we referring to? Obviously, the variable today. And then we're going to have close bracket at the end and an opening curly brace. And if you've been looking at the presentation and you've looked at the code, you'll be familiar with what comes next. When you press enter, automatically it's going to be indented, and then we're going to provide our first case. And our first case is going to be if it was a Monday, and then not a semicolon, a colon at the end of this line. And then what do we want to display if it's a Monday? We'll just say today is Monday, tidy your house. And the messages can say, pretty much whatever you want them to say, but you might just want to keep to what I'm doing. And so if the variable evaluates to Monday, this is what we're going to see. What we also want to include is what's known as the break statement. And if you don't include the break statement, what it means is that even if today is Monday, and this is correct, it will continue to evaluate the rest of the switch statement, which we don't want to do. We want it to break, we want it to exit it once it has met the correct value. Okay, let's do our second case, and our second case is obviously going to be Tuesday, and I think you can probably see how this is going to work out. The syntax is exactly the same. Print statement can say whatever we want it to say. Today is Tuesday, buy some food. And then again, the break statement. So what you're going to do is go through each day of the week, and you can make up your own messages: Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. When you get to Sunday, you might think, well, your job is done, but we're also going to include, so I'm just going to leave a space there to represent, the other days of the week. When you get to Sunday, instead of finishing your switch statement there, we're also going to include what's known as a default. And this is really just in case somebody types in something which is not either Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. In case they type in, for example, a day with different spelling, or in case they type in something completely random. We want to have a default situation so that anything which hasn't already been evaluated can simply fall under this default category. So again, print statement, no information available for that, just so that they don't get, a completely blank screen. Okay, and just like before, break, and then you can close your curly brace because you've reached the end of your switch statement. Okay, so we run the code. Obviously, because I've put in Thursday and I haven't set up a case for that yet, it's going to tell me no information available. If I change this to Monday and run the code, then obviously I'm going to get the message which is set up under the case Monday. So have a go, make sure you finish it off. I don't want to see labs which have just got Monday and Tuesday, and the default should have each day of the week.